So the Avengers Doomsday trailer has finally been released, and it's already taking over social media. In this video, using what we know from Marvel comics and movies, I'll break down the trailer and share a few theories about what might happen. If I miss anything, let me know in the comments below. Right from the opening scene, we can see the sign for Professor X's School for Gifted Youngsters, and Professor X is talking about something unavoidable and about making choices that have never been made before. Then we see a massive explosion, almost as if an entire planet has been destroyed. This matches many rumors about an incursion happening in Avengers Doomsday. An incursion is the result of the multiverse being overused for too long, eventually causing one or more universes to collide and be destroyed. Professor X's words may be hinting that the X-Men have no choice but to stop the incursion by destroying the universes that are about to crash into their own. And that exploding universe could even be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. Another interesting detail is that Professor X and Magneto are played by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, instead of the younger versions played by James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. This suggests that this is a completely different X-Men universe from the live-action timeline we already know. It seems to include the full classic X-Men team. After all, Professor X died in Logan 2017, and Mystique permanently lost her powers in X-Men The Last Stand 2006. This could even be the original universe of Gambit, the version we recently saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. Next, we finally see the Fantastic Four arriving on Earth 616, where they meet the Thunderbolts, several former Avengers including Ant-Man and Thor.
And if you look closely, there's a hidden figure in the bottom left corner of the screen. That person could be Steve Rogers.
Thor warns everyone about threats so terrifying that they frighten him more than anything he has faced before.
The team also meets Shuri and M'Baku, the new leaders of Wakanda after T'Challa's death. Shuri then takes them to Talokan, Namor's underwater kingdom. There's a good chance we'll see a small battle there. But the most interesting moment is the first meeting between Sue Storm and Namor. In the comics, Namor fell in love with Sue Storm almost immediately after meeting the Fantastic Four. He has always been passionate, bold, and emotional, offering the romance that Sue often felt was missing from Reed Richards, whose logical personality and constant focus on science kept him emotionally distant. The love triangle between Sue Storm, Namor, and Reed Richards has become one of Marvel's most famous and complicated relationships. I'll make a separate video about that storyline, so don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss it.
You know what? Sometimes you being you hurts me.
Now let's talk about Namor himself. In Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, he usually wore nothing more than green shorts along with his signature jewelry, but in this trailer, he has a completely different look. He's wearing a powerful black suit that feels much more modern and regal. My theory is that this suit was created by Reed Richards to help Namor survive on land, just like the special suit that appeared in Submariner number 67, published back in 1968. Next, let's move on to the incredible action scenes. The X-Men officially join the battle. Characters like Gambit, Mystique, and Cyclops are shown fighting against the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and Shang-Chi. This battle appears to take place inside Professor X's school, and at first, the X-Men probably have the advantage because of their teamwork and mutant abilities. The fight between Shang-Chi and Gambit could easily end in a draw, since these two have never fought each other in the comics. Interestingly, several major X-Men such as Storm, Jean Grey, and Iceman are nowhere to be seen. There must be a reason for their absence. Personally, I don't think this battle will last very long. Professor X will probably use his telepathic powers to understand the situation and convince both sides to stop fighting. Another amazing shot shows Thor standing in the middle of a battlefield covered with giant pieces of metal before charging straight at Doom. Those wrecks are actually the remains of the Sentinels, the robots built to hunt and destroy mutants. Thor most likely destroyed them with the power of Stormbreaker. We also get a very brief appearance from Loki, but is this really the Loki we saw at the end of the Loki series? After becoming the god of stories, Loki stayed behind to hold together every timeline. It wouldn't make much sense for him to suddenly return as a TVA agent. According to some rumors, this could actually be an earlier version of Loki, after he first learned to control his time-slipping abilities. He secretly warns Steve Rogers about the TVA and tells him that his timeline will soon be pruned because Steve was never supposed to stay in the past or have a family. Loki then offers Steve another option. He can move Steve's family to a universe where they never existed, allowing them to live peacefully. That universe turns out to be the Fantastic Four's world. Before leaving, Loki gives Steve a special card so they can contact each other in the future. In this shot, the hand is wearing a ring on the ring finger, suggesting that it might not belong to Loki. Instead, it could actually be Steve Rogers' hand. Steve and his family spend the next 10 years living peacefully there.
Near the end of the trailer, we finally see Steve Rogers again. He reunites with Thor while holding the broken Mjolnir. Thor looks completely shocked to see him, and even asks Steve to prove who he really is by lifting the hammer. This suggests that Thor has already faced enemies who can perfectly copy other people, such as Mystique or even Morph. Steve also returns with long hair and a beard, looking completely different from the leaked teaser that fans saw earlier. And that has many fans worried, because the last time Steve appeared with a beard, the Avengers suffered one of their greatest defeats in Infinity War. Finally, let's talk about Dr. Doom. He only appears for a few moments, but every single scene makes him feel even more intimidating than Thanos ever did. One scene stands out in particular. Thor attacks Doom with the full power of Stormbreaker, yet Doom casually stops the attack using only 2 fingers. It immediately reminds me of Dragon Ball, when Goku effortlessly blocked future Trunks' sword attacks with just a finger. The special rune symbol on Dr. Doom's gauntlet uses the same style of runes as the symbol on Wanda's shoulder armor. The 2 symbols share several distinctive features: symmetrical lines arranged in a hexagonal pattern, a hexagon at the center, and rune branches extending in 4 directions. These are enchanted empowerment runes, inspired by ancient runic symbols. In the Marvel universe, they are part of Marvel's own magical rune system, which is heavily based on the Elder Futhark, the oldest runic alphabet. This could be hinting that Dr. Doom's powers in the MCU will come largely from ancient magic rather than science alone. In the comics, Doom's mother, Cynthia Von Doom, was a powerful witch. After making a deal with Mephisto, she passed part of her knowledge and connection to dark magic on to Doom. Because of that, Doom's mastery of sorcery is inherited, at least in part, from his mother's magical legacy. Based on the little we've seen in this trailer, it's honestly difficult to imagine anyone who can defeat Doom right now. A recently leaked poster also shows Doom standing in front of a painting of a planet with a woman and a child. This could be hinting that the Incursion destroyed his family, giving him the motivation behind everything he does in this movie. Even though the trailer is packed with incredible moments, some very important characters are still missing. Spider-Man and Hulk don't appear at all. Maybe the upcoming Brand New Day storyline won't end well for them, or perhaps Marvel is saving them as secret weapons for the Avengers' final backup plan, alongside Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's everything I noticed in the latest Avengers Doomsday trailer, which arrives in just 4 months. What do you think about these theories? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss my next breakdowns and Marvel theories.
After so many times saying it, thank you seems soft.